So, yeah, I wanted to talk about luminous spaces, places that feel familiar, comfortable, and creepy at the same time. They're like points in between, moments in time where you're learning things and everything's changing and you don't know where you're going. And I'm figuring if you're watching my channel, you're probably having one of these experiences. It's also called Dark Night of the Soul. And I think it intertwines with the luminous space. You're no longer who you used to be, and you're not yet what you're about to become. And you're in this kind of purgatory, positive, negative, creepy, and joyful all at the same time. And it gets heavy. You lose people and things, possessions, jobs, man, relationships. Holy crap. they just they just go south really fast. Almost cartoonish. Like one of the old Bugs Bunny cartoons, like you're switching from episode to episode. And I think it has to do with this idea that you're no longer reading from the script. You know, I don't like using weird spiritual foo-foo terms like awakening and enlightenment and all that stuff, but there's a point with your meditations or your self-reflection, your self-awareness, where you start seeing things, patterns, not only other people's, but your own. Things that you've done that you're like, why in the hell did I do that? Like, I'm in Southern California right now. I was born in northern Minnesota and grew up in Chicago, and then, finished my high school years in northern Minnesota and then came out to California. And so it's really weird how things just take shifts. When you're not afraid, things take shifts. They move into other places. So if you're going through one of these moments where you're in one of the luminous spaces and it's kind of a void, it's not quite light and it's not quite dark, it's just kind of existent. It gets better. It will get better. You're on the path. You're working on yourself. You're trying to get over your own nonsense. Things will work the way they're supposed to work. So you don't really need to be afraid. And that's an easy thing to say and a hard thing to implement. But that's, I think, why it's so important to pay attention to synchronicities and things that pop up in your day-to-day life. Repeating numbers, repeating patterns, finding, the money that you needed to pay your bills just in the nick of time. Cars passing by randomly, bells ringing. It's very inducive or conducive of the path. But yeah, I wanted to talk mostly about the fact that I know a lot of you are going through some hard, heavy moments in your life. And it's perfectly fine. You'll be all right. You'll do the things that you need to do to get past those things. And whatever happens is whatever happens. Maybe it's to get you over your fear. Maybe it's to put you in contact with just the right people. My mentor when I was younger, in my late teens, early 20s, this guy named Joe, he was a jazz saxophone player. got me into all sorts of like some of the experimental jazz from the late 60s, mid to late 60s. Miles Davis and John Coltrane and Sonny Rollins and Thelonious Monk and all the greats, and made me look at things in a little bit different of a way. And he also happened to be a Zen Buddhist. And it was really funny here a couple weeks ago. I thought about Shinichiro Suzuki. He was the Zen master that started the Zen Center in Minneapolis. And he was my teacher's teacher. Not that my teacher was a master, but he was very well versed in Zen Buddhism and knew what he was talking about. And he would hand me books all the time on Zen Buddhism, on yoga and Tai Chi, and I mean, just all of these outside teachings. And there were 3 books that really changed my view of not only religion, but philosophy and my place in it. And one of the first books was Zen Mind Beginner's Mind by Shinichiro Suzuki. And he goes, this was my master, and he taught me how to meditate, and you should read this book. And it was my first real encounter with meditation, and it just blew me away. And then he gave me the Sermons of Bodhidharma, and that blew me away too. And then he gave me Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda, and I started looking at religion differently. Not only religion, but spirituality and philosophy and discipline and perspective. And I would come back to these books over the years and reread them and get new things from them. And talking about limitless spaces, every time I would read through these books, it was at a point in my life where there was a type of void. There was a little bit of darkness and a little bit of light, and nothing was really happening, but I was learning more than I've ever learned before in these very small gaps. Tom Hanks said something that I kind of liked. He said, "Are you having good times? Don't worry, those shall pass. You having bad times? Those shall pass too." And it means a lot, because we cannot be stuck in perfection at all times. Your practice isn't going to be perfect all the time. And that's okay. Your diet's not going to be there. Your exercise routine's not going to be there. Your relationships, your friendships, your kids are going to grow up and move away. You're not going to have the type of relationships that you had previously. They're going to be completely new. And whatever the universe takes away, it gives back tenfold. So it will be a completely new way to look at your existence. And it is kind of cartoonish. If you look at your life and you go, my God, it's very, very cartoonish. It's almost sometimes like people are reading from a goddamn script, to the point where you have to leave. You can't be in certain social functions anymore because it just seems empty and void. And it's not saying that any of those people are bad people. It just means that you're not getting out of it what you used to get out of it. And that's fine too. You don't have to judge anyone, or you don't even have to judge yourself. You especially don't have to judge yourself. Just try to do the correct things at the correct times. Try to do things out of kindness. Try to do things that are beneficial, not just to you, but the people around you. And if sometimes that means staying away from people, you recalibrating. But I just wanted to say that none of us are alone in any of this. We're really not. You have the universe, you have your higher self, you have your own perspectives, you have all of the people that have came and went throughout your life to help you on this journey. So you're never really alone. It just feels like it. There's a little happiness in that. that you're never truly alone and you've never really ever been alone. All those dark moments in your life, all those happy moments in your life, they came with lessons and tests and gifts. So keep chugging along. You're doing fine. You are loved. And I'm hoping you're loving yourself. Being easy, letting go, trusting the process, and moving forward with whatever it is that excites you the most. Because there is no one right practice that beats them all. Silence is good. Being quiet, being introspective, questioning the self, questioning the ego, those are all really great things, but you can do it whether you're a Christian or a Mormon or a Buddhist. And if something's not working, don't stick with it. Move along. You know, if your mantras aren't working, then maybe introspection will work. Maybe staring at a blank wall. Maybe some candle gazing, maybe a mirror gazing, maybe some yoga. Whatever it is that excites you is where you should go. There is no true one way. I'm sorry. And I know there's a lot of people that are going to disagree with me and say their religious thing. But it's not true. It's just not. And it's not that I came up with that. It's just the way it is. Everybody is on their own very specific journey. And you can't get down on anybody for doing whatever it is they're doing to improve themselves or their life or the lives of the people that are around them. So show a little love and kindness, not just to others, but to yourself too. Animals, all sentient things, non-sentient things, trees, plants, shrubbery, be kind. You know, we know what to do. We know exactly what to do. We know the difference between right and wrong. And you might go, well, what about evil? Well, they know too. There's no true this way or that way. There's only the pathway forward, and you learn as you go. So, as always, much love, and I'll talk to you next time.